Hey guys, I'm Paul, combat veteran, MMA fighter, and YouTuber, and I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the 3 items that I keep in my emergency kit that are absolutely essential for any bug out bag, emergency kit, whatever you have. Now, as a former soldier and someone who served a 12-month tour in the very, very rural parts of Afghanistan, right, it really helps shape my understanding of what sort of stuff is useful in an environment where you don't have access to everything you need all of the time, right? So let's look at my first choice. And that is going to be this. You're asking yourself, Paul, what is that bag? Well, the answer is it's a whole big bird's nest of U.S. Army 550 cord. Sometimes it's called paracord. So what this stuff is it's the cord used to secure parachutes to, well, you, the jumper. And it's thin, it's small, it's made of nylon, and it's rated each cord to carry up to 550 pounds of tension. You can see that inside it is a bunch of smaller fibers, right, and an outer shell. Now, the reason that the military loves these, and I love them, is because they're so versatile, right? You can use 550 cord, right, to rig up a shelter, lash anything together, right? It can also be a tourniquet, it can be a belt, and you can use these smaller fibers, right, for things like a snare in entrapping something. You can even sometimes use these as like a crude sort of component to a candle because they're highly flammable, right, almost like a wick. And the shell itself is also super durable, and we've often used that to lash our components to our weapons or what have you. So again, 550 cord, and I've had this for years. You can see I have some long pieces, some short pieces. When I go camping, I use it to hang my bear bags. It's just something that I use every single time, and I've never regretted it. My number 2 pick, right, and this is something that I keep in my car tucked away. It is a NATO-style entrenching tool. Now you can see these unfold pretty easily, right? And this is just a generic Amazon version that I keep in my car. And the appeal of course, an e-tool is that it's multifunctional. This is why the U.S. military continues to issue these things long after the days of trench warfare, right? You can see it's got a serrated edge, so you can do some rough cutting. This edge is actually fairly sharp and can be sharpened a little bit more if you need it to function as a cutting tool. Of course, it can dig you out of a situation. I keep it in my car primarily for that. If I ever get my car stuck and need to dig something out, I can. It's also resilient enough that it can be a lever, right? You can use it to pry, or like a crowbar. It's just one of those items. You can see it's obviously gotten plenty of use, even just sitting in my car for whenever I need it, which seems to come up more often than you think. But of course, my number 1 thing that you should absolutely have in your bug out bag or emergency kit is going to be this. You're like, Paul, what is this? This is a Posh Palatka. Now, it's a poncho tarp is essentially what it is. The U.S. military has their own version of it, right? Just a big waterproof tarp that has a hole and a hood in the center of it, right? Or in the case of the Posh Palatka, folds into a hood using some drawstrings. But the point that makes it so useful is its versatility, right? It's got grommets on 4 corners, so you can use it as a shelter, right? You can use it obviously as a poncho to keep yourself or to keep an object dry, right? I've used this when I was camping and I was in my tent, but I wanted to make sure my stuff didn't get rained on. I just wrapped it in the Posh Palatka, tucked it in, and it stayed dry all night. You can use it even when it's cold and you need to warm up. It's a blanket. It can do just about anything. You can even lay it flat on the ground if you need a clean surface to work. Maybe if someone's hurt and you don't want them to make contact with the ground while you kind of take a look at them, right? There's so many situations where you want something like this. And as long as it is a tarp, it is waterproof, and it has a hood, it fits the bill, right? And of course, tougher is going to be better. You can try to get U.S. military issue. You really should if you can. Or again, I have a strong preference for the heavy canvas of the Posh Palatka, right? It's a heavy waterproofed canvas. It's a little more fire retardant, fire resistant, and it's a little heavier duty, so when you wrap yourself up in it, it can keep you pretty warm. Okay, guys, that right there is my top 3 picks for military surplus items that need to be in your bug out bag and emergency kit, right? Now, of course, let me know in the comments below, what did I get wrong? I always miss something, and there's as many emergency kit bug out bag items as stars in the sky, right? So I'm always down to learn more. Of course, subscribe if you want more content like this, and of course, I will see you guys on the trail.